How's it going everyone? It's time for another Black Ops 2 gun review, and today's featured weapon is the FAL, which is often referred to by many as the FAL, which in that case makes the full name for this weapon FALOSW. So the FALOSW is one of two semi-automatic assault rifles in Black Ops 2, the other one being the SMR that I featured fairly recently, although this one's unlocked at level 22, whereas the SMR, or the SMR, isn't unlocked until level 46. It's funny how in the early days of Black Ops 2 everyone said the game was an SMG dominant game, but if we think about it now, halfway through its lifespan, if you think of one weapon that's kind of dubbed as overpowered, it would probably be the FAL plus Select Fire. As we'll discuss in this guide, this weapon becomes a real monster with that Select Fire attachment. It allows you to use this weapon in a way that would only previously be achievable with a modded controller. But let's get started with this guide and take a look at some of the FAL's general features. The damage profile weighs in at 55, dropping off to 40, which calculates to a 2 to 3 shot kill. These are some of the highest figures out of all the assault rifles, but as we discussed in that guide to the SMR, damage rating is the only area where this weapon lacks when comparing these two weapons. Being semi-automatic makes this weapon pinpoint accurate, and as you can see by the recoil plot, those shots hardly stray off target. And to finish off its features, this weapon comes along with a nice pair of iron sights, making it a weapon that you can save your attachment points by not having to equip an optic. So moving on, let's take a look at some more detailed stats for the FAL in Black Ops 2. This magazine weighs in at 25 rounds, which is just short when compared to the other assault rifles, but it's still 5 rounds higher than the standard capacity of the SMR. Again, being a semi-automatic weapon, it means you can conserve your ammo that little bit better, so 25 rounds as opposed to 30 isn't really a major drawback. If you do find yourself running short though, you can equip the extended mag attachment, which boosts up that capacity to 34 rounds. Another stat where the FAL gets the upper hand over the SMR is in its fire rate, which comes in at 625 rounds per minute. That's almost 100 RPM faster than the SMR, but it all depends on the speed of your trigger finger. Another good stat for the FAL is its reload time. It's one of the fastest at 2 seconds. And just to cover some general stats for the assault rifles, you get that moderate aiming speed of 0.25 seconds, as well as that 95% movement speed. So I did a pretty good comparison of the FAL and the SMR back in that SMR guide, but as I discussed, the FAL comes out with all the better stats with the exception of its damage. The FAL might have a faster fire rate, a higher capacity, slightly lower recoil and faster reload times, but the SMR's ability to achieve a 2-shot kill up to almost 40 meters, as opposed to the FAL's 15 meters, makes all the difference in game. Both weapons work really well in both semi-automatic and fully automatic mode with that Select Fire attachment, but I kind of prefer the SMR in semi-automatic to make use of that long 2-shot kill range, then use the Select Fire attachment on the FAL to make it a low recoil powerhouse, much like the Scar H from Modern Warfare 2. This setup's so powerful that it's gone through a few nerfs in recent updates. The main difference now as opposed to launch is that this combination results in much higher recoil, but still with the weapon being pretty much a laser beam as standard, that recoil is nowhere near the likes of the recoil plots you get from the other fully automatic assault rifles, which still makes it a really competitive setup. But talking about setups for this weapon, let's move on and take a look at my recommendations of attachment configuration. Like I mentioned, Select Fire is my number one preferred attachment for the FAL. This weapon's definitely still competitive in semi-auto mode, but when you flick that switch over to fully auto mode, it becomes a high power, low recoil weapon, which are the two main ingredients for a solid weapon in Call of Duty. Select Fire does mean you're going to decrease the weapon's range, increase its recoil and decrease its fire rate, but just being able to pin that trigger as opposed to repeatedly trying to press it just makes this weapon more of a point and shoot gun. And where a lot of the fully automatic assault rifles are going to be needing 5 shots to kill, you'll be securing kills in just 3 shots. With good stats all round, the only other drawback to this weapon is its slower aiming speed with it being an assault rifle, so second up I'm going to recommend the quick draw handle. Using that fully automatic mode from the Select Fire attachment gives you more confidence to get stuck straight into the action, so you can often find yourself getting gunned down without having a chance to aim in without the quick draw handle. So when you combine quick draw and the likes of the dexterity perk, then factor in that this weapon only takes 2 shots to kill, it's going to mean you can drop people extremely fast at close range. And I'd be tempted to leave my class setup with just 2 attachments and put the rest of those points towards perks, but if you did want to run that primary gunfighter wildcard, I'd then go with the suppressor just to clear out that muzzle flash from those iron sights, since you don't really need any optics such as a red dot sight or holographic sight. Plus that suppressor gives you those stealth benefits of keeping off the radar. The suppressor is going to reduce that range of the weapon, which is only enhanced with that Select Fire attachment. So these two attachments combined are really going to hurt your 2-shot kill range, but you're still going to be able to get kills in 3 shots across any sight lines. So that's about it for my guide to the FAL in Black Ops 2. Let me know down in the comments if you think this weapon's pretty balanced now they've made some changes to its recoil and range, or do you think it's still one of the most overpowered weapons in Black Ops 2? If you do think this weapon's overpowered, what would you change in its stats? I think for me I'd probably give it a slightly longer reload time. 2 seconds is quite fast in the whole spectrum of assault rifles. If you are a fan of this weapon, or if you just enjoyed my guide, or even learned anything new, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up down below just to help spread the word and share the video with your friends. Don't forget to check out that guide to the SMR for a full comparison of these two weapons. There's also the full playlist down in the description for all the other weapons that I've covered so far in this series. While you're in there, don't forget to click those links to Twitter and Facebook. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all later.